No, you're good, Rob. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't see me on here.
That's no one needs to see you any more than
Okay.
no. You're on the screen. We can see you just fine.
Okay.
Did I hear someone just crack open a cold one? Is that what I heard?
Not me.
Matt, do you have your alarm going off? We should just let your alarm go off in the background, and we won't tell anybody what it means.
Yeah, that's what we were joking about earlier. Like, oh, Zazel, you're not gonna put it on vibrate or nothing? No, I want everybody to know what I got to go through and how often I got to go through it. I want to make it. I want to make everybody enjoy this process.
Well, we briefly mentioned that you had a procedure. We did not discuss what it was. Is that something you're open to discussing?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
I think it's going to be funny when I'm sitting on the toilet in about 15 minutes, just commenting from
like, I gotta
YouTube.
go.
Like, I'm in the bathroom, guys, and I'm just commenting in the comments. You know,
You should have just put the computer in the bathroom. You should have just.
I told him.
Got all set up on the toilet.
I told him just.
That's not very hygienic.
For the bathroom.
Yeah, you don't know what my bathroom looks like.
All right. Stream is happening, but it's lagging a little bit.
It's up. It's up.
Is it up and running?
Yeah.
It looks like it's lagging a little bit on the OBS side.
It's up.
Yeah, but I'm getting. So it's streaming on the OBS side, but on the YouTube studio, there it goes. Okay, it caught up. It was just catching up. Okay, let's disconnect that. All right. We are at. All right, you guys ready? Is everybody ready?
Yep.
I'm good.
All right, Casey, if you're not talking, put it on mute. And all right, we will go from here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is 6:30. Oh, and the timer could not work out better.
That was perfect.
Oh man, I tell you, that was not planned.
I wish I planned that.
That could not have been planned out better. We will explain Matt's timer when it goes off again in 8 minutes. In the meantime, is it 8 minutes?
It's 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay,
then.
so every 10 minutes. So that timer, we'll get to that eventually. On the video chat and on the phone with us today, we have Rob Frank from Expedition Team Overland joining us from Akron, Ohio. How you doing tonight, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for joining. So background here, Rob is a listener. Unfortunately, he's muddled through 140 some episodes of us talking. And he is working on building his own brand, and he's got a website and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and blog and all of the things that we all go through when we start building a brand like that. And so he's coming on to tell us about it. And let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about you and where you're at today, because you've got this beautiful background here. For those of you that aren't watching the live stream, he's got his Expedition Team Overland banner behind him and this beautiful wooden cabinet behind him. Looks like there might be a fireplace. Looks like a smoking room.
It's very regal.
It's very like he's almost like on a throne. He's like on the Overland throne in his room. So tell us about your throne room.
This is my office. We just bought this house about 2 years now. This was the selling point of the room. The selling point of the house is a quarter-sawn oak wood room with dental molding. It's just freaking awesome. But unfortunately, I have a 3-year-old, so I got a swing set and puzzles and blow up tent and all that other stuff in here. So when she gets older, I'll get a nice, big baseball glove sofa and all that other good stuff.
Yeah. the kid stuff seems to take over the man cave no matter how hard you try. And I'm sure, Casey, you know it when they're 14, does it ever go away, or their crap still all over the house? He's still on mute.
No, they start. That's when they start to hibernate in their rooms.
Oh, okay.
They just come out
Promise?
for like, they just come out for
Promise?
food and money. Yeah, I promise.
Oh God, what a glorious day that's gonna be.
Oh, how funny.
Well, they just come out for food and money,
Yeah. And you're
or a ride.
or a ride someplace. So Rob, tell me about Expedition Team Overland. I mean, what's your background in like off-roading and overlanding, and what brought it to the point where you started to build this brand?
So when I got my current job, I needed another car, and I told my wife, well, I'm just going to go buy a $5,000 POS from eBay, and she says, no, you're not going to do that. I said, okay, well, I'm going to buy a Jeep, not knowing anything other
Which
than
is the same as a $5,000 POS.
What's the
just so we're
difference?
clear.
It could be a $40,000 POS.
So I bought I bought my dream car was a 2002 Jeep Wrangler TJ,
Okay.
and had that for a year. Started taking it off road, and it, being from Ohio, it was all rusted out, cracked frame. And I said, okay, I'm done with this. Traded in for a new 2013 Sport, and just started getting into the off-roading stuff. We have a little off-road park called Southington that's near us. And through there, I met up with a great group of friends. Some of them are were fatherly figures and great friends and all that type of stuff. And so I got a Sport because it was the mentality of built, not bought, than getting a Rubicon. So
Which is
built that
great
up.
in theory until you actually have to build it. Until you have to take the time to do it.
Exactly. One of the guys I was with, he's like, "Oh yeah, lockers are $1,000." Oh, okay, that's great. Well, it's $1,000 an axle plus another $1,000 for install.
Right.
Yeah, the locker price is one price, but then it's all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I built that Jeep up really good. I did a bunch of trips with it. Went out to my first big trip was the group that kind of started all of us was called JK Freaks. Started a local forum and went to Facebook and all that type of stuff. And they had two gatherings, one in the spring and the fall. So went out to those. First one in the fall was at Badlands in Indiana. Had a great time out there. That's when I just had the lift on my Jeep. I had a 2.5-inch lift with 35s. And then for the spring Freak Fest was at Roush Creek out in Pennsylvania. I did the whole AEV build on my Jeep with their bumpers, tag carrier, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Built that up, loved it. That fall 2015, took it out to Ouray, Colorado. Did two days of the Alpine Loop. Did Imogen and Engineer passes, and then we headed over to Moab to do Jeep Jamboree. And that was just awesome. So we did 2 days of trails on our own, and the 2 days of the Jamboree. Came home from that, and that was just you just can't go to your local off-road park after you go to Ouray. It's just not the same, unfortunately. So then kept doing some more trips. Did Easter Jeep Safari in 2017 in that Jeep, and because it was a Sport, it didn't have lockers.
Yeah.
So I was at the point now where I needed lockers, and we just had our daughter, and the JK was coming to the end, and I looked at my wife and said, "Hey, look, I'm at the point now I need to do a lot of investment in this Jeep." Ran a ton of spreadsheets on cost.
Yes.
Cheaper for me. Yep. I'm a spreadsheet guy too.
Yes.
Spreadsheet for everything.
Well, thanks for calling. That was a great.
If you start talking about pivot tables, Cody's going to lose it.
Well, see, I could do the spreadsheets, and I call my buddy from college up. I said, "Hey, here, fix this." And he does all the formulas for me. I looked at my wife in December of 2017. I said, "Hey, look, I need to get new axles, and it's going to be about $10,000 plus." And I was going to install them myself with my friends. And they just came out with the Recon edition of the Jeep. So I ran the numbers, and when I showed her, she goes, "Okay, what do you want to get?" And I showed her a picture of a 2-door Jeep. She goes, "We just had a kid.
Yeah.
How are we?" I said, "But the deal was that my wife's car was going to be the family car. This was just, going to be the other car that she drives to work when she goes back and forth to work when I'm home, and then when I'm out on the road, I'll take my Jeep to work." And so that didn't go over so well. So then I looked and said, "Okay, well, I'll do a 4-door." And the numbers had to work. I had to either sell my Jeep for the right amount of money or get a good price on trade and a good price on the new vehicle. So I had a lot working for me because the JKs were ending. It was the beginning of the JL. So I found this great dealer in Pittsburgh, and he gave me a really good price on my trade, and it worked out really well. So I kind of started out with a new slate. But the bad thing was I had about 18 hours, including sleeping and driving to the dealership, to strip everything off my Jeep, get it back to as much of stock as possible. So I don't have to reinvest in bumpers and lights and all that type of stuff. So got that done, and now I've pretty much done a whole the build on this is an AEV 3.5-inch lift, but I'm really going towards more of the overland. So did Easter Jeep Safari in 2019 last year. Loved the hard trails, but I spent a day out in Canyonlands and Arches. I was like, this is more what I really want to do. Doing an out and back trail is great. Doing steel bender or fins and things, it's really cool, but you spend all day, you start and end at the same place. And when I looked at, I think it's called White Rim Trail or something up there in Canyonlands. Yep. I was like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So I came home from Easter Jeep Safari. I said, okay, I've done the wheeling. I've done the off-roading stuff. I really want to go exploring. So since then, I've done 2 camping trips through Pennsylvania. I did Mountain State Overland. That was the first trip I did with my current Jeep. That great group of guys spent 3 days out in West Virginia and Virginia exploring Mount Fire roads and abandoned roads and stuff like that. And so then this summer, I've done 2 trips with some buddies of mine here in Pennsylvania. I was really lucky. Midland Radio sponsored me, outfitted all of our Jeeps with communication. And so now I'm just getting ready for, trying to possibly go to Ouray next fall is kind of where my horizon is.
Well, so I'm looking at the map because I'm a dumb Southern California guy that thinks anything on the other side of the Rockies doesn't exist. And I'm looking at where
there's not much past the
Rockies. I'm looking at Akron and the trip to Colorado, man. How long is that drive?
It's 24 hours. It's 2 12-hour driving. 2 12-hour
so it's like when someone in Southern California wants to go to the grocery store. It's like you got to stop somewhere in between to take a nap. I get it. Okay, cool. It's not that bad.
I've done the cross country drive now, I think 4 times. So like I just got back and I was like, wow, I know all these gas stations.
So from Akron, and you're up there near the Great Lakes, and I see why you went to Pittsburgh because it's close by. Like, is the off-road parks in that immediate area kind of your primary off-roading opportunities?
For the most part, yeah. Southington Off-Road Park, it's a guy owns 2 old quarries. Up here in Northeast Ohio, it's a bunch of quarries that they use for scuba diving, and then this guy has for off-roading. So that's where we usually go. I haven't been there in many years. The sand up here, it's a great place to learn, but the sand, water, mud mix we have here in Northeast Ohio just eats bearings and bushings, axle seals. In my black Jeep, I think I had like 7 axle seal leaks.
7?
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm super paranoid. Every day on my new Jeep, I'm looking under the tires, waiting for an axle seal leak. And every time I see something, I'm like, oh shit! Oh no, it's just my tie rod. Grease out of my tie rod.
You don't have that in southern the southwestern states. We don't get the eaten away by salt and mud and weather because we don't have it. It's all heat. It's all It's all hard soft tops getting brittle
cracked
dashboards. Yeah, bushings and grommets and stuff wearing out.
The salt here just eats eats all your cars away. I mean,
Yeah, see.
unfortunately, my Bilstein shocks after one winter, it just the metal corroded. They look like crap.
Yeah, see, that's just another reason not to go on the other side of the Rockies. Thanks, you just sold me on it. So how was? So it sounds like you went pretty quickly from getting your first Jeep to like ratcheting it up to where you're at today. What was the launching point from going, hey, I really enjoy this and want to do the overlanding stuff, to starting Expedition Team Overland?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny. Expedition Team Overland kind of just started almost by accident. So one of my buddies who started JK Freaks, he got a sponsorship from Expedition One, and he put Expedition One on the side of his vehicle, on the side of his Jeep. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I didn't know at the point. I didn't know what aftermarket was. Before I got my Jeep, I changed the oil with my dad in my dad's cars. I mean, I never pulled a wrench. I had a toolbox that was a hammer and a screwdriver. I'm putting pictures on
duct tape and
And you know what? The funny thing is, that's all Casey needs to work on a Jeep is a hammer and a screwdriver. He can fix just about anything. I've seen him do it.
And since then, I mean, my buddy, when I installed my first lift over 4th of July weekend of 2013, I mean, all his tools were in my garage. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, he really taught me everything I needed to know. So I didn't know what aftermarket bumpers were and lift kits. I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So instead of, I can't put Expedition 1 because he has that. I was like, I have like Expedition Team. So I just went to the graphics place and put Expedition Team on the side of my vehicle. I'm like, oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
Just to kind of stand out. And then when I went to Easter Jeep Safari in 2017, was when I'm like, you know what, maybe I should start a YouTube channel. And I was like, okay, well, I got Expedition Team on the side of my Jeep. I guess that's my name.
It works. It actually works. And so when did you start the YouTube? Like, what was the first? What year did you start doing the YouTube videos?
Oh boy, I think 2015 was some of my first stuff. When we got back from Ouray, I made a Ouray video and 2 Moab videos.
Okay.
And that and they're now all copyright protected because I'm using, like a rock, Bob Seger. I'm using all the wrong stuff is what I'm using. Now I've learned my lesson. I'm using all the free copyright, the free videos, free music on YouTube. So.
Yeah, that's it's funny.
I've been telling Cody, if we could just start playing like a lot of Led Zeppelin in the background and Rush, we'd probably get a lot more people to pay attention to us. But
yeah, but
I guess
it's your people, and I don't know that that's what we're looking for.
Look, it's better than playing
don't say
Foo
it.
Fighters
nonstop. I'm gonna click. You're gone. Matt is no longer part of the show.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. You know the party I have going on tonight. So don't threaten me, dude.
Talk about thrones. You're gonna be on the throne.
Yeah. We'll talk about Matt's throne in a minute here. We want to get through learning more about Expedition Team Overland. So the videos that you put, and you've got quite a few on your page already on the Expedition Team Overland on YouTube. If you have not gone over to check it out and subscribe, please do so. I've watched some of your stuff, and it's a combination of trail runs and how-tos and product reviews. And how do you choose the content and figure out how to get it all filmed and edited and posted? Are you doing this all by yourself?
Yeah. With some help of my friends, they've kind of helped me. One of my buddies helped me figure out how to make an intro and stuff like that. I'm using Final Cut Pro. But so when it started out, I was like, well, when we're all in lockdown in April, I'm bored changing diff fluid because I got nothing else to do on a Tuesday afternoon.
But Jose loves that stuff. He does it on the weekends because it's his favorite. And he drives a 400-year-old vehicle, and he has to.
Well, yeah, a 400-year-old truck needs a lot of maintenance.
So I kind of just had to change my mindset of if I have a thought or a question and I come to my own answer, I'm probably not the only one who has that question, and I'm gonna make a YouTube video on it. So I think my first, they're not really good, was like how to take the doors off a Jeep, how to take the Freedom panels off the Jeep. One big problem I had, and I spent this summer, was I bought a Gazelle tent, and I couldn't find. I haven't. And I love camping. I used to go camping every summer with my dad growing up. Then college and life gets in the way,
Yep.
and so now I'm like, okay, I want to get all back into camping. So I had to buy a tent, and I think for the Mountain State Overland trip, I bought a REI tent, and it was a pain in the ass to set up. And you're laying down, you can't put your clothes on, you can't stand up with your clothes on. And I saw the Gazelle came out, I was like, this is awesome, I love it. And it fits perfect in the Jeep, the T3 that they don't make anymore, fits perfect right in the Jeep, it's made for the Jeep. But I couldn't find a cot for it, so I spent two camping trips figuring out how to sleep in the tent, and finally came up with this Coleman air mattress. I said, you know what, I've spent 3 months figuring this out, I'll make a video on it. And just make a video.
Well, and you know what I like about that is, so just hearing your story, and you know, it's only been 7 years or so that you bought the Jeep and you started your process, and you've, you know, escalated from one Jeep to the next and back into camping. You know, I feel like you're coming at it from a fresh perspective. You're not someone, because it's real easy for people that have been doing this for 20 years to like, oh, that's second nature to me, I don't even think about it. Not recognizing that there are people like you that are 7, 5, 2, 6 months in that are having these same questions that you're having. And now you're taking the position of, I'm going to help people get through it so that they don't have to struggle for 3 months like I did.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the point. It's like, I know there's a ton of people out there who buy Jeeps and don't know how to take the doors off. But I didn't realize that the guy who has the #1 lead in videos, he has like 14,000 views because he's a car dealer, and he did the same thing. So, the
good thing about that is usually the doors will just come off anyhow on a Jeep. You don't really need to know much about it. It just happens.
Hey, somebody pick up my doors behind me.
Just drive it long enough, and then they'll come off.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, but again, so going back to that, I think that you know, that we've talked about this a little bit in the past. Is you know, a lot of people are. They have this idea that they want to put something out there, whether it be a podcast or Instagram or YouTube, whatever, and they're always like, you know, I hear these stories of, well, I'm worried about how it's going to come off, or, you know, am I an authority? Should I be the one that's putting it out? Who wants to listen to me? Right? Well, maybe nobody wants to listen to you, but maybe there's that one person that you're going to help, and then that guy will share it with another person. And if you've got content ideas, there's enough room in this space. Jose and I had a conversation earlier today about, you know, competition in the podcast space or the YouTube space. There's enough room in this space for everybody to create some kind of content, and then just let the chips fall. I mean, whether you have 40,000 followers or 400 that are really engaged, whatever, just, you know, if it's bringing you some joy and you think you're helping some people out, my suggestion is for people to go out there and do it just like you are.
And that's the way I looked at it. You know, I know I'm not going to be able to quit my job and become a 100% YouTuber. That is not my end goal. You know, I was actually, what really kind of got this all started was when my daughter was just born. You know, you're up all night waiting to do every 4-hour feeding, stuff like that. That's when I really started watching.
Hold on. Matt's got to take a shot. It's been 10 minutes. Matt's going to take a shot. We'll talk about the drinking game later. Sorry, Rob. Didn't mean to cut you off. But go ahead. So your daughter was born. You're up all night waiting.
Yeah, you're up all night watching YouTube. And I just started watching Jason Kirchie. He drives a 4Runner. And he started doing videos of him just off-roading with his kids. You know, and to me, it was like his kids will have a video of them being young and camping and all that. And I was like, that's what I want for my daughter.
Yeah.
And so if I could start it now, before she gets all, you know, she's 3 years old. I haven't taken her off roading yet. You know, I want to wait for until she gets a little bit older. I know you guys take your kids out.
We didn't take press early on either, though. You know, we did some. So when Presley was,
Didn't you say something about making sure she had Benadryl, something like that?
It was Dramamine. But no,
okay.
We didn't take Presley off road early on either, because of the bouncing around and the head bobbing and stuff like that. You know, now that she's 4, she's physically, I have no problem taking her. She's just not a fan of it yet. She, you know, it's too bumpy. It's you know, she loves the exploring. She loves parking the truck and playing in the dirt with her cousins and friends. It's the drive that bothers her. She doesn't like driving up the hill. And
yeah, my daughter, we've done 2 road trips this summer. You know, we rented a minivan, went down to the Lake of the Ozarks, and we did a 12-hour straight drive home, so we had to get back from my wife's work, and she was a trooper in it. But I just I don't know. I'm not ready yet. But when she's 4 or 5 years old, that's when I want to take her camping. She's going to be my camping buddy. And I want to have videos, good videos. So if I start now making my crappy videos and work up to making better videos, they'll be better quality when she's joining me for the trip.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's going to be family videos that, she'll have forever.
Yeah, I totally love that. I think about that a lot with this show. I mean, when we come on this show, we talk about our families and our kids, and we're pretty straightforward. We're genuine. We open up about who we are. And I think about our kids later in life being able to come back and listen to their dads, have these conversations about the time we went on the trip on the Mojave and all the kids got to spend the weekend camping and that kind of stuff. And I love the idea that that's going to live on.
Here come the waterworks.
Oh, I'm not going to cry. So you've got the YouTube channel, which then has grown into Instagram and a website and a blog and Facebook, and are you managing all those different properties on your own?
Yeah. So I have to give a shout out to my friend Lauren. She's my chief editor on my blog, because my C-D+ Catholic high school education really didn't do that well. So big shout out to Lauren. She's my wife's like, you've read it like 3 times before you sent it to her, right? I'm like, yeah.
I went to
Who's our chief editor?
Yeah,
do we have a chief editor?
Yes, we
Am
do.
I the chief editor?
No. The chief editor. The chief editor is Tammy. When I post something and she's like, "Did you realize you wrote it that way?" Like Tammy is she is so good at grammar and writing and all that stuff. She'll get frustrated with me and she'll tell me after I've posted something, "You might want to go back and reread that." And I'll have to go back and edit it. And so she doesn't.
Can we just call me chief anyhow?
Sure, you're the chief shot taker. You're the chief. Okay. I don't know what you're gonna.
I came up with something pretty funny.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna say it because it's disgusting.
It is. So Rob, on the on the Facebook page and the Instagram stuff, the content, how much of the YouTube stuff are you able and like Facebook stuff are you able to work into both Instagram and Facebook and overlap that kind of stuff?
So the YouTube is usually significantly lagging in what I'm doing. Like I'm editing swapping out diff fluid and differential covers. We filmed that back in September. And I got to look at my list of YouTube channels and stuff I still have to edit. I'm kind of running out of old content, I guess you could say. Need to work on a studio and film, like making what's all my gear and all that type of stuff, and hopefully trying to do a trip down to Virginia in November. So I'll try to make a 1 or 2 part video on that trip over the and trails and stuff like that. Instagram. Right now, I'm just kind of recycling a lot of my old pictures I have.
Just for those of you, for those of you that aren't watching the live feed, Matt just had to get up and leave the recording. We'll address it. Oh, sorry, Rob. And Rob, I appreciate you being a trooper for this one, because this is not typically how we do interviews, but you're hanging in there. I appreciate that.
No, it's fine. Hey, we're all men.
It's pretty typical
at that point, some point of our lives.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So right now I'm kind of recycling a lot of on my Instagram is kind of just recycling a lot of pictures. But when I'm working in the garage, I'll throw I'll make a bunch of stories, and then I'll post those pictures or videos as I'm doing a project on the Jeep.
So I think we all know that filming content is the easy part. It's the editing and posting that is the one that never gets done on our side. Did you have any experience editing videos or doing any of that stuff, or is this something you're teaching yourself and learning on the fly?
Teaching on the fly. Like one thing I'm really proud of, I met him at Overland Expo West in 2018. Yeah, 2018. He was, at the time, I think he was a Conquer South African trailer company guy, the repping, and he was out of Ohio. So I contacted him. I was like, hey, I'd love to do a video on your trailers. Well, he's now changed to an Australian trailer. And I was really proud because this one trailer, it opens up and then part of it opens outward, like it goes backwards kind of. So I have video from inside the trailer and outside the trailer at the same time. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. It's like 15 seconds, it's like 5 seconds. And I'm like, it took me 3 hours to edit that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is funny when you do that. Like when you edit a video and you do something that's what you consider to be creative, that you're like, that was really cool how I was able to splice those two together and make it. And you're like feeling like, yes, it took me 4 hours to do. And some videographer would be like, that's a 15-minute 3-click thing for them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything. I mean, when I was doing that, I had like 3 YouTube channels open. You know, at one time, my Final Cut Pro's on another screen. I'm trying to do, you know, point by point of what he's doing. It was ask me to do it again right now, and I probably
Yeah, no, I'm
won't
with you, and that's the thing. Like, I think just like so many other things in the world, right? The videography piece, although it's easy to film, it's not easy to film well.
I don't agree with you that it's easy to film because you gotta set up the shot.
That's what I was saying. It's easy to turn on the camera and film when you do stuff, but
but even choosing what shot you're gonna.
But most of us don't do that.
No,
most of us don't.
We don't do.
Most of us don't do that, and there are people that are like in their head. They say, "Okay, I'm going to make an install video," and they know I want to come at it from this angle. These are the 16 shots they need, and they set all that stuff up. We don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, think about the people we've talked to in the past that create content. It takes minutes, if not, tens of minutes, to get like a 10-second B-roll shot.
Yeah. And they know in their head they want to do that. We just click the camera, turn it on, and at the end of it go, I wonder if we can slap this together to make something out of it, right? I mean, so the filming part is easy. It's not easy to film well or to film in a way that makes sense for the editing. The editing part is hard, but I think it's one of those things like, coming at it from Rob's perspective, he's trying to just create memories and create content that he's enjoying. He's not looking to win a Grammy or an Oscar off the whole thing. It's that challenge of figuring out how to do it and then seeing it done and then publishing it and being like, yes, I did that. I mean, is that on track?
That's exactly. I mean, I'm going to have a 2-part video for the Pennsylvania BDR, Backcountry Discovery Route, that Midland sponsored us for, and I entered it in the Overlander Film Festival.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, my wife is kind of like, I'm going to win. I told my buddies, his two sons were doing a lot of the outside the Jeep editing, and I named them James and Cameron. And I said, guys, you guys got to get your speeches ready. We're going to the Oscars. We're going to the Grammys. We're going to go to this film. We're going to go to Telluride Film Festival. We're going to be at every film festival. I knew we weren't going to win, but we don't have a drone and we don't have any of that type of stuff. But it was fun because I had a deadline. I knew I had to make a video, had to be 15 minutes long, and I had to have it done by this date. And it just kind of got me going and made it. Now I'm making a 2-part video that'll be dropping, I think, in December. I made it into a 2-part movie. So
wow.
It's going to be.
How do we just do one part?
Yeah, we can't get one part.
Yeah,
done.
we can't even get a 1-parter out.
But touching back on that, you talk about like a drone and stuff. It's interesting that going back to what I said, it's easy to film. We all have cameras in our pockets. You turn it on and film. But to create some of the content to compete on the level of where the content that we're consuming, these large channels and stuff, it is not just phone cameras. It is, it's drones, it's rigging, it's gear, it's, you're investing a crap ton of money to get the shots. You're looking like you don't agree.
No, I'm just trying to word like so take Brad from Trail Recon, right? His videos seem like someone's just standing there with the camera, but I mean all those shots are like thought out. Everything is like uniform, right? Like because with us you have Matt's cell phone video like oriented in one way. You have my camera like on a stick.
Yeah.
Yours is like a different.
And then Casey's camera. I don't know if you noticed on any of the Instagram posts this week. Casey's camera for some reason has a fan running in the background, and it sounds like it's vibrating while he's filming. I don't know what that's all about. Like I don't know what he's got on his dashboard.
I don't know why the heck it does that sometimes. Not on every video, just when I try to talk to it.
Yeah, so you shouldn't talk.
There's no uniformity within our shots, right?
No. Well,
but all that's taken into consideration. Even if we had all the best stuff in the world, drones, all the high end cameras. We wouldn't even know what to do with it.
No, because I think it requires someone to take the lead and go, okay, this is what we're going to do. These are the types of shots we want to get. In my head, it's going to be tell this story. And so that, you got to plan all that stuff out in advance, right? It's difficult to do, like in Rob's case, if he's doing a how-to video in his garage by himself, basically set it up on a tripod, and try to get the best angle possible. You can't, you know what I mean? That's one of those challenges of not having multiple angles and multiple cameras.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like those videos, all those content creators, no matter what it is, that have thousands of followers or whatever, that make it look seamless and easy is because they've taken the time to do it right?
Yeah.
Like and we haven't taken the time.
No, we don't.
Well, I also think that you look at you take Expedition Overland XO, they're way up there.
Yeah.
Clay, he is a professional cinematographer.
Yeah.
That's his career.
And that's what he did. That's what he did prior to XO as well.
Yes. And then you look at guys like Jason Kirchie, Brad, Chris from Venture 4x4. They're one tier down, but they're also especially Brad, now he's with E3, so things might have changed there, but Jason Kirchie and Chris, and us, we're the driver, the producer, the editor, the director, and you're trying to put it all together.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that's what the hard thing is. When you're out on a trail, you're like, okay, I got to drive my Jeep down this trail and not destroy it or flip it or whatever.
Yep.
I also have to think, where do I want to put cameras? What you can't walk around with the Steven Spielberg, looking
you gotta think
around
about
with
what story you want to put out.
And I've often said that, like, I think for our trips, because if I'm leading and I'm trying to pay attention to the map and be on the radio and drive, and you guys can make all the comments you want about how crappy I am. Apparently, Casey's now the new team leader for some reason. But I've often said I think it requires someone that is dedicated to filming. Like they're not in someone's vehicle, they're not driving, they're bouncing from vehicle to vehicle, and they've got a couple of different cameras, and they're taking, you know what I mean? That's the their job, right? Yeah. And I've had a couple options. I've got a couple people I've thought about, like, okay, come on this trip with us for the day and just get content.
Well, I've said I would do it, but you're like, no, you need to drive your truck.
Well, we need you at the back end of the trail, the back end of the train.
And you really do. When I did the Mountain State Overland trip, I forget, CT was the guy's name. He works for Blue Ridge Overland Gear. Great guy, but he was just filming.
Yeah.
That was his job that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So he got out, ran up ahead, got the shot as everyone's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
He jumped in everyone's vehicle and interviewed you in your vehicle and stuff like that. Like at Clay from XO, he's the producer. He sits there and he doesn't drive, he doesn't cook, he doesn't set up camp. He sits there and figures out the shot, takes notes. Like he on his last trip, he's like, "Yep, every night I'm sitting there. Every night I'm sitting in the truck. I have a notebook and I'm just taking notes because he has to put the storyboard. He's filming the storyboard at the same time.
Yeah.
And he needs to put those thoughts down because now 6 months later he's going to be making.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's writing down. This was an epic shot, and this was on this day at this time on one of these cameras is where I want to make sure I highlight that. I mean, none of us have I don't have the time to do that. Like it requires it's a lot of dedication to create content, which is so coming full circle, going back to some of the stuff that you're doing and some of the other people that we've interviewed that create content on YouTube. That's very what I would consider very raw. I think that there's something to be said for that is the counter to the high end produced videos. The raw, hey, I'm a dude in my garage. I've never held this tool before. I just bought it from AutoZone. I'm going to try to show you how it works.
That comes across.
That comes across. That genuine, because I think most of us, let's say, a large portion of the community is that guy. I've never changed the diff fluid in my vehicle before. I'd love to do it because I don't want to pay someone to do it. I'm watching this guy that's just like me do it in his garage. I think there's a lot of content there versus the Sunday morning shows that I used to watch.
Oh yeah,
where they've got it on a lift and they've got this $400 pump that they can use to No, none of us have that.
Where they do axle
Yeah.
swaps
Yeah.
in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, axle swaps in 20 minutes. Yeah, you know. Go ahead, Rob.
When I made my it's live on my YouTube is my brake install.
Yes.
Good friend of mine. He's on the team now. He's a mechanic he's a mechanic at a local shop here. Great guy. And I was like, hey D, you know what? You're gonna be doing this and you're gonna be doing the brake install. I wanted to help. I'm like, I have to film as well. But it's also I was like, hey, he was doing the labor, I was doing the videoing. And we still missed up on a ton of stuff. I'm putting the video together. I'm like, I went to him. I go, I don't know if I can make this video. We're missing so many parts, and it's not the part. I said, he goes, what do you mean? I go, we didn't have a video of you taking the caliper off. He's like, we just take the caliper off. I'm like, you're a mechanic. You get that. We're trying to make the video for me. He goes, you get a 13 millimeter wrench. You make sure it goes lefty tighty, righty loosey. You're not trying to dumb it down, but you do have to dumb it down.
If
you want a good install video, you got to tell these guys, you just don't take the caliper off. Okay, great.
Yeah.
What's a caliper?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and there's a portion of the community that will get that, and then there's a portion that's like, all right, they're missing some pieces. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? It's no different than like you were talking about when you were trying to do your the filming, the editing on Final Cut Pro, and you're watching all of if a videographer was like, well, what you got to do is do the splice function and blah 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 blah, and they skipped all the steps, it wouldn't make any sense to you. I mean, it's
exactly
there's a difference there in who you're trying to talk to. Okay, Matt's back. Woohoo! Matt's back. So round one is successful for Matt. Okay, cool. We'll come back to that.
Hey, Matt, you get bombs on target?
Matt was cleared
I wouldn't
hot.
describe
Cleared
it
hot.
as
Cleared hot.
I wouldn't say. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as bombs. It's more
It's more of a carpet bomb.
Napalm. Napalm.
like a spray, like a crop dust of a field you don't want to grow at all. Just want to kill it.
You just napalm.
Like a mudslide?
Yeah. All right. So with that,
Good times.
Yes. With that, Rob, what kind of things are you planning in the future? Like what kind of? I mean, it's taking you to this point. You're building up your following on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You got your website. What are the kind of the next steps for you?
Next steps is just to keep. I've had the website, the picture side. I just started the blog this week, so kind of going back in time. I'm gonna have my envision is 3 parts, like a build thread on my Jeep, gear review, and then trip reviews. So I'm gonna be going back in time, doing all my trips I'll probably start the trips like with U-Ray 2015, Moab 2015, the big trips, then hitting out the trails here in the eastern U.S., the Appalachian Mountains and stuff like that. YouTube is just to continue putting as much content out. I'm not sure how often I'm gonna be able to get out on the trails just with family and stuff like that, but until then, gear reviews, what do I put in my Jeep, how's my Jeep, I have how I load my Jeep, but okay, what tools do I carry?
Yeah, because that's a thing with Jeeps. When you don't have a truck, you have to pick and choose what you load in your Jeep. See, I have the ability to put the entire Bass Pro Shop in the back of my truck,
And you do.
and I do regularly. But when you've got a Jeep, it's limited space, so you have to pick and choose how many pillows you take with you.
So, and then for on the expedition side, I call all my trips expeditions, even though trust me, I'm not Lewis and Clark, and I'm not doing anything like that. But I hope to make it out to U-Ray next year. That's kind of that's a goal. I think big goal. One of my friends goes, "Where do you see your channel? What's your end goal?" And I think my end goal for me is to be able to make the great videos and of content and production that I can go to. And this is God honest truth, to go to Earth Roamer and say, who makes those big ass trucks on? Excuse me, you got to bleep that out. Those big trucks. And I want to go, hey, I want to rent your truck for 3 weeks, and my wife and daughter fly to Denver, pick it up, and I want to go through Denver, Utah, Colorado, Montana, or just hit up as many national parks, and I want to make this like an epic vacation for us. And make a video for Earth Roamer and for my channel promoting their vehicle, but more or less a video for my daughter to say, look what my dad did. Look what we did as a family.
Look what
and
we did.
We lived in this, and I got to see 16 national parks in 3 weeks.
That'd be awesome.
We didn't take an interstate. We didn't take a dirt road, a paved road.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm going aside on tangent here. You guys like tangents. My buddy did it through AEV. He did a training seminar out in Florence, Oregon. So he drove from Ohio out to Florence, Oregon, picked me up in Portland, Oregon. I flew out. We did the training, and it took us 3 days to get from Florence, Oregon to Denver. And we didn't take we took a very little interstate. And the joke in our group is you never give Rob unlimited time and a map, because we ended up on one road where, we're Eastern Oregon. The guy goes, you're not driving that road at night. We're like, yeah, we got to get to, I'll never forget, Winnemucca, Nevada. Because there was a bunch of casinos there. He goes, I wouldn't drive that road at night. We're like, well, we kind of have to. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We can't stop here. We need to continue eastbound. He goes, well, there's live cattle and horses on that road. My buddy's got the AV bumper, so we're pretty
sounds like lunch.
Yeah. And we stopped on this road. I was like, hey, let's try to get a night shot. We didn't even pull over. We saw 3 cars in the first 5 miles, and we didn't even see a light. There wasn't a barn. There wasn't a street light for like 2 hours. And I was like, this is awesome.
It's funny. We give Cody all the time and a map, and we still don't make it to our destination.
You'll never get there. No, you make it to my destination.
Well, yeah, whatever.
I'm happy with where we got. Well, look, man, I think it's inspiring to hear, someone talk about how, they got into this off-road overlanding thing, just over a handful of years ago, and the passion struck, and you started, growing in your, not only in your vehicles, and then you started putting out content. And I love the background of creating content that you'll be able to share with your family down the road. I think that's a theme for a lot of us that are doing these things with our families, and it's the opportunity to really share that stuff with other families, and then have it live on for forever, as long as the apocalypse doesn't happen and the internet is still up. But
2020 is not over. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot that can happen between now and the end of the year, but I think it's awesome.
As long as the Dodgers win the World Series, then I don't care. We just blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, but let's be honest. How many times have they choked in the series in recent history? It's chances.
I'm gonna start choking people.
Pretty much. There's a better than not chance that they're not gonna win. So let's the over under there is, it's not gonna happen.
I hate you.
But Rob, seriously,
are you talking about the Brooklyn Dodgers?
Stop it.
I love the page. I love the content. I love the fact that you reached out and introduced yourself and gave us an opportunity to have a conversation with you. So if you're listening to this and you haven't already, please go to YouTube and find Expedition Team Overland. Go to their Instagram page, which is Expedition Team Overland. They've got the website Expedition Team Overland, and Facebook, which is also Expedition Team Overland. And go see what Rob's doing. He's creating this content on his own, trying to put stuff out there to help everybody in the community learn a little bit about their vehicles and share in his journey. And man, I think that's really cool. I think it's really inspiring, and I hope the channel grows. And when you get that Earth Roamer vehicle and you're ready to go on the trip, you let us know, because we want to hear updates all the way across the country as you're doing it.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm just a small guy. I think I just hit the milestone of 1,500 subscribers on Instagram, and I think YouTube, I need 2 more to make it to make the 100 mark. So, I know I'm no Steven Spielberg, and I'm not there yet, but it's going to take time and patience and editing videos and getting them out.
Oh yeah,
I want to share my story, like you said.
Absolutely, and one of the things that when we started doing this, the tagline was, "You've got a story, we want to hear it," right? And a story, whether it be a story about your '98 subscribers on YouTube, or a story about your $98,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, a story is a story, and whether it's a big story or small story, it's all part of the community. It's all part of who we are, and I think there's ways to find inspiration in every one of those stories. So, whether or not you're big or small, I think you've got a great story. I love hearing about
Thank
it,
you.
and I hope that you find a lot of success, and maybe one day it does take over your full-time job. But if it doesn't, and you're able to create the content that makes you happy, and you can share that with your family, I think it's a win-win.
It's just once I get to share this with my daughter, I think that's my big goal. I want to get everything dialed in for when she's old enough to go out on the trail and go camping with me. I'm not there figuring out how to hang a light, and she's next thing I know, Bear's bringing her back to the camp. Oh hey, look what I found. I want to have everything dialed in before so I can enjoy the time with her. I can sit by the campfire and enjoy it, not have to learn. Okay, how do you start a fire? I used to do that when I was an Eagle Scout, but
Yeah.
I haven't had a fire in forever. So just those little things, and it is the little things, I think. As you've probably found with going out with your kids and stuff like that. It's the little things that get you. Did you forget?
Yep.
What's the stupidest thing you forgot?
Yep.
Their
Now
clothes, like an extra pair of clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be in that shirt and shorts for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Inside outwards, forward backwards.
I love it. All right, man. Well, look, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on and telling your story.
Well,
and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you again in the future, and we'll be following all the stuff that you're doing. And again, everybody go check out Expedition Team Overland on all the social places, and subscribe. So, man, thanks a lot so much. You have a great night, and we'll chat with you soon.
Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great one.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, dude. Good story. Thanks for coming on and telling it. I appreciate it.
Hey,
That
thank
worked
you
out
guys so much. It was a pleasure to be on here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. So the I'll edit this show over the next couple days. You've already sent me your logo. That's great. I'll use that in creating promotional posts, and usually I'll upload this to the media host on Wednesday night for release on Thursday. When I upload it on Wednesday, I will send you an email with all the details and the social media posts and what have you, and we'll start promoting it Thursday morning once the show goes live on the podcast channels, and then see if we can't drive some traffic to your site.
I appreciate it. You guys, like I said, I've been listening to you guys for years. Unfortunately, some of it was like all condensed. I'd listen to like 12 posts in 2 days, and then go 2 months before I'd fly again, or something else would come up. But I've really enjoyed listening to everything.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and I'm gonna keep an eye on all the stuff you got going on. I hope we see some of your numbers go up on the subscribers and followers, and see if we can't help.
I really appreciate it. If I ever make it to Southern California, Mojave Road, and I don't know what Big Bear is, but it sounds freaking awesome.
Oh, you'll love it. If you make your way out to Southern California, give us a call.
I will.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, you have a great night, and we will. I'll send you an email later.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye-bye.
All right. No, already again. Come on.
That's awesome.
Casey, did you see my chat? I was trying to tell you to stop breathing in your microphone.
I was muted.
Oh, okay. Then
I was double muted because the headphones mute if I fold the.
Oh yeah.
It mutes, and I had the button clicked,
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
it wasn't.
Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was Matt.
I'm not a mouth breather.
Does anybody need a break? 5-second break. What's going on in the chat room? I have not even looked at the chat room because
a lot of
I'm gonna
poop
take a
talk.
5-second break.
a lot of what? Poop talk.
Poop talk.
Poop talk. Okay. Let's take. I'm gonna go. Let's take 5. Chat room. Get not even that. Give me 30 seconds. We'll get hopefully Matt back on it, or should we start without Matt?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll stay here.
2 seconds.
I don't know all the details about what's going on with Matt. Honestly, I don't want to know. Hey, Susan. Yeah.
What's up, Jose?
Hey, what's up, dude?
I missed you this weekend,
I
man.
know. I was just telling Susan. Yeah, she's. I wish I could have been there, man.
Yeah,
I'll be there for the next year's Kessel Run, though.
right. We'll have. We didn't really time anything, so now we don't have like a record to break next year.
Oh, okay. It was a trial run, right? Like now
Yeah.
that we have the actual Kessel Run mapped out,
Right.
we can do it next year for time.
We did try to make it from the tubes back to camp in like 45 minutes.
Yep. Because how many miles is it from the tubes?
It's
to
like
camp?
30 miles or something
Okay.
like that. And we didn't do it. We didn't make it. But we were tearing that desert up. And then some people's rig started to fall apart, and we had to stop and tighten some stuff up.
And it's by
We
some
were-
people, was that you?
No, not me.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I drive a Nissan.
That's true.
Okay.
All right, you ready? We'll you want to start without Matt?
Yeah, I mean he's engaged on the throne. So
Oh, that's right. Is he? Is he? Is he
Yeah.
still? All right.
I mean he's still here
He's still. That's right. he's still-
indirectly.
so we can talk trash about him. All right. All right. You got.
3, 2, 1.
No, I do the 3, 2, 1. Nobody else does 3, 2, 1.
all right, okay.
3, 2, 1.
Fuck it.
Asshole. 3, 2, 1. All right, we are back from the break, and when I say we, I'm talking about Jose and Casey and I. Matt is here virtually. In spirit. His camera is on. We're seeing his seat. His seat is vacant right now. Matt is in the chat room, I believe, and he's hearing us. He's probably watching us on YouTube right now. He's waving his hand in the chat room.
Yeah, and it should be that like lighter shade of brown that's up there.
so we'll go ahead and talk about Matt while he's unavailable to defend himself. We briefly mentioned that Matt had he wasn't going to be at the launch of the Kessel Run this weekend because he had to go to a doctor's appointment. He had a COVID test on Saturday before coming out to the desert. That's because tomorrow Matt is going to be filmed. And when I say he's going to be the star, he's going to be the star of a video.
Got a close up.
It's a super close-up
Super
video,
close-up.
Mr. DeVille. It is a video from the inside. He's auditioning for the sequel of Inside Out from Disney Pixar.
Okay.
So tonight, if you've heard his alarm go off a couple times, he's got a horrible, nasty drink to drink so that it will flush out his system to make it an easier pathway for the camera to get to where it needs to go.
Well, it's a pretty easy pathway as it is already.
I'm pretty sure he's got a GoPro. They're just going to take a GoPro and go, right?
It's gonna be a cinematic camera, dude.
It's a 360. It's one of those 360 sphere cameras on a stick. So Matt will be bouncing in and out as he's taking breaks to clear pathways and what have you. And then he'll be back on. But apparently, when he's not sitting at his computer,
His second desk.
he's at his other desk,
Yeah.
watching us live on YouTube. So we got Casey to join us tonight to talk about.
That's what I was gonna say. I know nothing of the trip besides what I saw on what was on Instagram.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this. So the Kessel Run was this weekend, and by all accounts, it was a success. And I say that because I didn't get to participate in it. I went out Friday. I was able to get the campsite. I tell you, I was telling you earlier, like I went out Friday thinking, I was concerned about getting a campsite. That
Well, Matt had said like you better go.
Yeah.
He said that there was going to be no way any of those spots were going to be open.
Razor Road is a that area off Razor Road by the Punch Bowl, Sand Bowl, Bowl, whatever you
It's
call
a
it.
hot spot, right?
It is. It's off-road, quad, dirt bike, side by side. There's a lot of people out there, and I really thought that I needed to get out there Friday early to secure a campsite. Specifically, the one campsite we wanted, because that campsite was big enough to fit everybody.
Yeah, it's a big flat spot.
Big flat spot with a fire pit already. So I go out there Friday. The funny thing is, I go out there Friday and one shot. Not a single U-turn by myself. I'm totally by myself. Single shot. I show up and I'm like, yes, nobody's here. And I set up the orange room by myself, literally like grabbing one corner at a time, inch by inch, to get it extended. And then I got it raised up.
Should have filmed that, dude.
I had one hand to begin with. I should have set up my phone. I should have set up my phone as a time lapse so you could watch me fumble through it. And then I set up chairs and ran caution tape around the entire site, and I put like rocks on the tables and the chairs and stuff so it didn't blow away. And then I took off, and then a couple hours later, Joey D was the first one there. So he got there. He's like, "Yep, it's secured." And
yeah,
then,
I was texting on the way. He's like, "I'm almost there."
Yeah, so Joey D, Joe K, ZR2 Dave, Crystal, Tim Ronchetti, Casey, you guys all went out Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then when you got there late Friday, you guys spent the night.
Yeah, because I did like 12 U-turns trying to find a place.
They said you were lost, and Joey was like waving his flashlight to try to flag.
He had his light bar pointed straight in the sky like the freaking bat signal. And I'm driving around because I'm following your coordinates, and there's a blue line. And I get to the end of the blue line, and it's not the camp. And so I'm like, well, I know kind of where I'm at, but I can't see anything.
Well, in the
so
dark, it's totally different, dude.
Yeah, I end up on like a single track, like a dirt bike track, like, 5 feet wide, and I'm trying to maneuver my truck through this stuff, and it's all soft sand. And then I look in my mirror, and Susan's not behind me anymore. So now she's driving around in circles trying to find me, and I'm driving around in circles over here trying to find her and find the camp. And so it took us like at least an extra half hour.
Is Casey, is someone in your house watching the live stream other than you?
It's coming through your mic.
Oh, babe, can you turn it down?
Yeah, turn it down and put it on mute. I can hear us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she has it on her phone.
Oh, hi Susan. Hi Susan.
You can hear it in the mic.
So you guys get there Friday night. I come home Friday. I go back out Saturday morning, and as soon as I got off the freeway, Sarah from Baja Forged LGE was getting off right in front of me. We stopped at the gas station, and then she followed me in, and I felt bad because it's like 7 miles from Razor Road, from the freeway to the camp area. Mm-hmm. And it's all washed out, washboardy and bumpy. And driving in and out on Friday was pretty tough for me, for my shoulder. And so I didn't want her to, I went like 10 miles an hour. And I didn't want her to have to be stuck behind me the whole time. So I tried to push it a little bit. And I found myself like hunkered over, trying to hold with my right foot, trying to hold my arm. And like, so we as we're going in, and I'm thinking to myself, sweet, I know right where I'm going. I was just there yesterday. I made it in one shot. Somehow I ended up, I don't know how many different U-turns away. And I'm telling Sarah, I'm like, I swear to you, I made it in one shot yesterday. I think what happens is the minute someone's behind me, like a switch, a switch flips in my head and I can't figure it out. And I panic and I was like, I kept going like, I know it's right over here. I know it's right over here. So we had to kind of maneuver around a little bit and come in from the backside.
Yeah, he pulled up and I went, why the hell did he come from that way?
Because I passed it.
How the hell did that happen?
I passed it. You know those hills right there where the camps? I passed it on the other side of those hills.
It's like if you were coming back from the Punch Bowl.
Yeah, so I had to come around the other side. So got there and, kudos to Paul. Thank you to Paul from Nexen Tire. He hooked us up with swag bags for everybody. So I got there. I got the swag bags set up on the table, started kind of checking people in, making sure that everybody was there, started texting with people that weren't there yet. Hey, are you guys still making it? And, where you at? and a couple people dropped off last minute, but some of them told me they were going to drop off. But we ended up with quite a few. Scott Wolfesteig was out there, Joey D, Duty Driven Mark, Elam, Easy Six was up there. Teresa and her husband Jason showed up a little bit later. Casey, Susan, my sister, Casey's wife Susan, Dave came down. Deech 615 came down from Fresno area. Rogelio was there. He does all of the upholstery for the LGE team. He's got a really nice Jeep. He was there with his family. Tim Ronchetti, Sarah from LGE, and I was there. But we ended up. We kind of had a pre-launch meeting. We had everybody gather around. They grabbed their swag bags, and we talked to them about kind of what the plan was. And then, since Matt was still at his doctor's appointment and I wasn't able to take the run, Casey got nominated to be the group leader. And I'd given him my tablet, which I'd like to hear how you made it crash 3 or 4 times. But I'd given him my tablet with all the coordinates in it. And I felt comfortable with the fact that I'd also sent the GPS coordinates and mapping to Joe K, Joey D, Dave, Tim, like
there's
all of those. There's a bunch of people there with maps, right? Well, that in case
that shows how much confidence he has in my mapping skills or leading skills.
But you've been, this is basically the last day of the Mojave Trail, and you've been on this trail a bunch of times, just like the rest of us.
Right.
So when
but that's like when the special kid in class gets to be the teacher's assistant.
Yeah, that's a pretty good metaphor. I'm good with that.
Were you always just the teacher's assistant?
Yeah, Casey was good at teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
He collected the toothpicks and the glue. So you guys all, like, everybody's ready to go. Everybody was on the radio. Ooh, by the way, who did I give a radio to? I think I gave.
I think Matt has all that stuff.
Okay.
I gave him your tablet, the gimbal, and I think he has whatever the radios are, and the table and Easy Up, all that stuff.
Okay, so I'll tell you, you guys took off, and then as I watched you guys go away, I stuck around for a little bit, and I could hear you guys talking. And then at one point, Casey, he's already lost, and he was trying to blame it on the mapping skills. And I got on the radio, and I'm like, do not blame that on me. That's you.
No. Well, right after he took off, I was like, all right. And then full-blown panic set in. I was like,
because you've got 20 people behind you.
They're actually going to make me do this.
Yeah.
And then, to start, the arrow did not want to find the blue line. So I did some zigzags for the first quarter mile because the arrow just kept jumping back and forth on each side of the blue line. And right there in that area, there's 10 trails going the same direction, and then they'll split off.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to actually be on the blue line. You just have to be parallel. You just have to follow the general direction of the blue line.
Right. But then at any moment, whatever trail you're on can veer off to the side. True. Now so I was like, I want to find the one that's supposed to be on. So yeah, it was there was a little nerves happening, I think, right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Just because
I know.
There was
it's a little nerve-wracking being on the front, dude.
Yeah. So you guys take off. I stick around for a while. I post some social stuff. I hang out, and then I head out, and I'm heading out, and I'm cruising back towards the freeway because I'm going to go home, and I'm cruising at 10 miles an hour, and I get about halfway there, and I see this cloud of smoke out in the distance. I see this dust just billowing up at a deathly pace, and I'm like, that's Matt coming in. and sure enough, Matt comes in as I'm coming out.
Coming in hot.
He's coming in hot. And he pulls up next to me. He rolls down the window, and we chat for 30 seconds. And I wanted to continue talking to him for a couple minutes.
Hey, he has places to be,
he was having none of it. He's like, "All right, bro, cool. See you later." Rolled up the window and took off again at 60 miles an hour. He did not. So you guys take off, and you go. Casey, you guys hit Travelers Monument.
right.
Going from camp to Travelers Monument. Any issues or anything there of note?
No, just that, I had trouble getting right on the blue line for the first quarter mile. Then my memory came back. I was like, oh, okay, now I recognize this trail. And you go through that gate.
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of soft right there, and then you finally get onto that, you make a hard right, and you're on that hard packed lake bed stuff.
Yep.
Then I was like, okay, we're good. I know where I'm at now.
Yeah, from there, you're it's pretty straightforward from there.
Yeah.
So you guys all stopped. I saw a video, and Casey posted a bunch of the video that he took on the trip onto the Trail Chaser page. I appreciate that.
I saw a bunch more, so.
Yeah, keep posting it. I
Yeah.
saw that everybody was kind of having a good time at Traveler's Monument, checking it all out. And how long did you guys stay at the monument?
10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's
Something like that,
ample
right?
time. Like,
It's a pile of rocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need any more time.
Nobody brought rocks.
No, I didn't think to tell anybody about it. But I mean,
Yeah.
we've been there longer before because we've staged up and taken pictures
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I didn't know if there was any of that stuff going on. So then
Beer breaks.
beer breaks, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then it was towards, about 10, 15 minutes, and then I get my phone rings, and it's Matt, and he says, I just got off Razor Road. I think I'm going to air down and just come and try to catch you. And I was like, holy shit, you must have been going fast on the highway, man. From when Cody said you were just trying to get onto the freeway, and now you're here?
oh yeah. So going back to that, freaking the 15 freeway was a disaster.
Yeah, dude, I saw Mark's Instagram and it was just a giant
So
line.
they said Friday night on the way up there, they were in line for 2 hours because of an accident and a lane shutdown, right? Saturday morning, when I went up, they had Sierra shut down to one. I mean, I'm sorry, the 15 freeway to shut down to one lane.
By Sierra or
Yes. So I had to get off. I think it's Summit, and I'm taking side streets trying to to get around to get up above it. And
It didn't matter. All the traffic just overflowed onto the side
so
streets.
all the fortunately I went through there at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning, and it wasn't as bad. But when Matt was trying to do it at 9, it was everything going north.
Yep.
Every option going north
It was
packed.
Yeah.
Because when I came home, I didn't tell you guys this. When I was coming home, so now it's 2:30, 3 o'clock or whatever in the afternoon. By the time I hit that area
It was
on
a
my way
parking
home,
lot?
from Sierra all the way down past the 210,
yeah.
almost
Oh,
to
yeah.
baseline, was an absolute parking lot. And they had one lane, and it was like one car at a time.
Oh my
One
God.
car at a time. It was
Oh, shit.
they could not have shut down a northern artery worse than they did. I don't know what they were doing there. So Matt has to haul ass and get around all the traffic to get up there. So Matt, when did you catch up with the group?
It must have been probably 40 minutes after I met you, or I saw you at the trailhead, right?
Yeah.
So
It was within, I would say, a mile of Kelbaker Road.
Oh, okay. Cool.
yeah,
Right, Matt?
probably a couple miles. Yeah,
Maybe a couple miles.
yeah.
And then didn't Sarah and Jason meet you guys at Kelbaker as well?
But that was when we were coming
Oh,
back.
on the way back. Okay.
the
So
way back.
for those of you who don't know, from Razor Road, as you're heading eastbound towards the lava tubes, you have to cross over Kelbaker Road. And if you wanted to do this trip and wanted to take the quickest route possible, you could actually take the 15 freeway up to Kelbaker, take that road down, and then just get on dirt, closer to the trail. But that's no fun. And then so Matt catches up with the group. You guys cross Kelbaker. You go out to Tank 6 Corral and hit. So did anybody get crazy on the Kessel Run area, the Renegade Highway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how do you think I caught them before they
Yeah.
got to the lava tubes?
Well, right before when Matt was catching up to us, I heard him on the radio, and I thought, okay, Matt's in the back, and then I looked in the mirror and I could see him coming up on my side, and it was like whiskey throttle. I panicked, and then I just hammered it, and so then Zen's like, "Whoa, Dad, hold on, wait," he started kind of freaking out because I was pushing it pretty hard. I was like, "Matt's trying to pass me." So
You can't let it happen. How did Casey? How did the Frontier do? How did your Frontier do?
as you would expect it to. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, is that what I expect?
Well, maybe you don't, but
Well,
no,
I do.
I definitely don't think that my suspension is on par with probably what Matt's running. So I definitely think there's some upgrades that needs to happen there, at least some front coilovers. But 50, 60 miles an hour through there, no problem.
It's a frontier, you know.
Yeah. So compared to Big Tasty,
I would still be out there. There was no way I could have pushed it the way I pushed it. You know what I mean? I mean, not that I don't think I could have.
Yeah. So you make the left at Tank 6 Corral and go up Antler Highway. We call that Antler Highway because that's where Jose picked up a 4-foot branch in his front bumper one year.
But I didn't hit anything. That's the thing.
So Jose was way in the back. He pulls up to the group and he's got this 4-foot branch sticking out the side of his truck. And he's like, I don't even remember hitting that. So the group makes it all the way up to the lava tubes. How much time did you spend at the lava tubes? Did you guys do lunch and everything?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say is we're hanging out at Kelbaker Road. I wanted everyone to stack up before we went across. And then we were talking about how much further we had to go. And Joey's like, well, not the way you're driving. I was like, oh. I was like, am I going slow? He said, yeah, let's get going, you know. Okay, there we go, you know. And then that's when everybody kicked it in, you know.
Okay.
But
looking at the vehicles,
there was maybe like 5 cars parked there.
Looking at the vehicles that were on the run, everybody was well-equipped for that terrain, that trail. It wasn't like there was anybody that you would be worried about bottoming out or not being able to carry some speed.
Any stock rig could do it.
Yeah.
It's just not the most the most optimum, right? Like the ride's not gonna be the best.
Yeah, well, with some of those whoops and dips,
yeah,
a stock vehicle is gonna bottom out and or bury the skid the frame rails, right? I remember going back to the first year that Matt took the Renegade on the stock suspension, stock tires. There's those sections in the washes where there's the ruts where everybody's tires go, and Matt was like a sled. You could hear the sand scraping on the bottom. He was basically like flattening out. He was flattening out the center section
like
with this
half the time.
Yeah. But I think everybody probably was equipped enough to have a good time there. So you guys get to the lava tubes. Tell me about kind of what you did there.
It was a little crowded. There was like maybe 6 vehicles, I think, parked there. So we had a little bit of time spent trying to file everybody in and get parked and stuff like that.
Half of that, that loop
that
you park at, and then you walk that, I don't know, a couple hundred yards. That was half full. And we would have filled it our group alone, probably. But I noticed that, remember they had a pot like in line, like 500-pound rocks or stones, like blocking so that you couldn't drive up there.
Yeah.
I think you can drive all the way up to the tube now.
Well, that's I told the group that. I said there used to be a sign that said no vehicles beyond this point. That sign is gone, but I still...
Was that in the email? Email?
No, that was not in the email. That was in the driver's meeting beforehand that you didn't attend, sir.
Okay. As we're walking back down the trail, here comes TJ, and me and Joe K were talking about it, and Joe stopped him and said, hey, just so you know, technically you're not supposed to do this. I mean, there used to be a sign. And then right after that, here comes some lady in a Frontier, or no, I'm not a Frontier, 4Runner.
Oh.
And I stopped her and said, hey, just so you know, you're not supposed to be going up here. There used to be a sign, but it's not there anymore. She said, I didn't see a sign. I said, yeah, I know, because it's gone. Someone knocked it over or something, but you're not supposed to be up here. She said, well, I just saw that it looked like the road had been traveled. So I went up it. I said, yeah, but you're not supposed to, just so you know. Yeah. Oh, okay. And then he drove up.
Yeah. Matt, is it drink time? Shots time?
Shots.
So as we discussed,
these are the worst shots I've ever had.
As we discussed, Matt is taking his special shake to make his special bake.
Shakes are delicious. This is disgusting.
So you guys, did everybody go hike up and go down on the lava tube case?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, if you guys haven't done that, I mean, that's one of those really, really cool things to go see in the Mojave Desert. You can climb down into the lava tubes, and you get the beams of light that are coming in and take some pictures. It's really cool. It
was probably the dustiest it's been since of all the times I've been there. It's like There was a lot of dust kicked up in there. It was,
Well,
What is the desert?
but we
but sometimes it's not always like that though.
But we always go in. We always hit it Memorial Day, which is after the winter, right after you figure there's rain in January, February, March, whatever. There hasn't been any
That's
rain
true.
out there. This is the
Right.
driest it's probably been. That's probably why. So lava tubes, hang out. Everybody jump back in the truck and head back. Did you guys make a straight shot back? Did you stop at those other mines we had mapped out or anything?
No, everybody pretty much just wanted to get to camp and then get to the punch bowl.
Okay. And by everybody, you mean Matt?
No, I think pretty
Yeah.
much everybody. I asked everybody, "Hey, you guys want to stop?" And everyone said, "Let's just keep going." So,
More caves.
and then I think
caves. Punch hole.
right
You
on the
can't
way
drive-
back was the fastest we went.
Yeah.
How many parsecs would you say was on the way back?
We tried to do it in 45 parsecs.
Well, that's
And it
slow.
wasn't- yeah.
12 being
Yeah.
the
That's-
supposed record.
Right, exactly.
No, we tried to do it in 45 minutes. That was the time that Joey D gave me. He says, "Okay, you got 45 minutes to get us back to camp."
Yeah, maybe in his Jeep.
I
but,
said, "Okay, I'll try." And we pushed it. We went for it, but
The hardest part was because it obviously had been so dry for so long.
oh, you couldn't
The
see,
dust was
yeah,
it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible.
horrible. You couldn't see. So you had to either try and split wide and to get some clean air, which it was still impossible. It was just that really slowed the pace up for sure.
Yeah. And most of us, I know there are a couple, but most of us don't have chase lights.
Dude, I told you guys like 4 weeks ago.
we
You
all-
guys should get chase lights.
I wasn't on the trip. I
We
don't
need to
even.
get them.
But we
Why
all.
didn't you come over to my house and put them on? You're always
I didn't know
looking
you
for
had
things
them.
to do.
I didn't know you had them.
We all definitely need some. form
I
of
didn't know you were offering. I would have bought some.
So you guys get back to camp. Did you guys hang out at camp for a while? Or did you go straight to the punch bowl?
We were at camp for
15
20
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes. Like 2 beers. And then we were out of there.
Did everybody go to the punch bowl, or just some of you?
Most?
Let's see.
Say most.
Yeah, I saw.
Wait. Let's go back a little bit. I heard on the way back there was cars falling apart. Where was that at?
on the last sprint back.
Whose car was falling apart?
No, it was just a rack that Crystal had just had installed. on
Oh,
her JL.
okay. I see.
One of the bolts was loosening up, and so it was clanking around. They were worried about it messing up the hardtop, so it was just,
Oh, okay.
Couple-
I see.
yeah.
All right.
Not like the car rattling apart, but
No, I thought there
we
was
had four
parts
red
falling
pumps and
off or
stuff.
something.
No.
All right, cool.
So I saw video of Matt in the punch bowl, Sarah in their Ford in the punch bowl.
Did it overheat?
No, of course not.
No, she didn't have any problems. I asked.
she was
Oh, you had
tearing
no
that
problems?
fucking thing up.
Whoop!
Damn it, Casey.
Why did you have to announce it, Matt? I think you missed
Yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah, he had
I
missed
heard
it.
it. Damn it.
Uh,
But Matt was talking over it, so now I'm gonna have a hard time editing it. So
Good.
So did everybody take a turn in the bowl, or was there some people just kind of
yeah,
watch?
we pulled up, and then Sarah
Matt's taking
dropped
all the
in
bowl
like,
time
right
right
at
now.
the same time that Matt did. And then Teresa went ape shit with the Raptor. I wanted to drive that thing out there, man. That was
That's
Oh, man.
that's a
I don't
thing
know.
purpose. That's like purpose built
You
for
can
a
definitely-
Raptor.
oh my
You
god!
can definitely
that
hear
was-
the difference when that thing was in the bowl. It was like,
was a big one.
yeah, it was like just killing it. Everybody else was, laboring to cruise
Yeah.
around.
I saw that
Yeah,
Dave.
everybody-
Dave
it
and
took a
played.
while. It took a few people getting in there doing it, and then slowly, like one by one, everyone else that wasn't going to do it was like, "Okay, let's go do it." So I think everybody tried it.
Matt, how
I,
did
I have a theory about tires and sand because if I don't think you want mud and snow, you don't want those heavy lugs and sand because it's just applying more load and you're grabbing more trash. It's just more load on the motor,
you kind of want
I
to
think
float
if you
over the
had,
sand, right?
huh?
If you had like all
I think
terrains
all terrains would be better.
because
Yeah.
you float more over the sand, right?
I honestly think so because like you could see the difference between somebody like me or running like a heavy lug,
Yeah.
and then something with like the churning up or the trail, it's not as churned up as something
I
with a
think-
smoother tread.
You would have to run the same vehicle with two different
Yeah,
types of tires to see, because
Well,
let's do it.
different horsepower, different torque, different size tires, like
Yeah,
all that
well,
kind of stuff is going to come into play.
to Matt's point, my first CJ, it actually had the Mickey Thompson's Baja. I forget what the Baja Trail or whatever. They were sand tires, and they didn't have big lugs. They had this like 4 zigzag patterns all the way down the middle, right? And they weren't great in sloppy stuff or mud or whatever, but on sand, they were 13 and a half inches wide, and they set on top, and they were great for the sand. And so
Yeah.
I agree, Matt. I think if you had a vehicle that was primarily going to be set for sand, you could go with like the Rodian AT or something that's maybe less aggressive and still get. Oh man, Matt's got to go again. Matt's got another exit interview where you could use an all-terrain tire and get just as have just as much fun. With the only caveat being that if you start climbing large dunes, I think that you may want more lug to get there, but I'm
Right, because you think about like paddle tires
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, I think it comes to if you have the power to push the lugs, you can use the.
That's so
the
just
lugs.
the paddle
Yeah.
the paddle tires.
Yeah.
Those paddle tires are on vehicles with crap tons of horsepower. So
Yeah.
okay, so you guys go to the punch bowl and everybody tools around and has a good time, and then you end up back at camp. What time did you guys get back to camp? Was it dark yet?
We were pulling up like maybe there was like a half hour of light left, 45 minutes, half hour of light left. Like the sun was down, but it was just that residual light. And as like I could see camp, I could see where I'm going to park, and I hear on the radio that someone was stuck. And I'm thinking, I don't know how that person can be stuck in that vehicle. And Dave says he's going to go get him, so we all go back and back to camp. We're there for like half hour, maybe close to an hour, and we don't hear anything on the radio. They won't respond to the radio, and Matt says, "Let's go check on these guys and see if they're all right." By this time it was dark, like
Who was stuck?
100% dark. Crystal,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And
So I'm going,
she's
how the
got
hell?
so Crystal's got a new JL Rubicon.
Yeah.
Just recently lifted with a rack and some shocks and some new tires.
Oh, she
and
got it lifted.
Oh man,
recently?
it looks great. Her
Okay.
Jeep looks fantastic. And
37-inch Patagonias.
yeah, and
Oh damn.
yeah,
dude.
and we've seen Crystal wheel. She's not
Yeah.
afraid to get into it. She's been on a Mojave with us. She's not afraid to wheel. So I think that's what Casey was referring to. Is like, how did Crystal get stuck? So go ahead, Casey, tell the story.
Yeah, in her in that vehicle with how it's equipped, how the hell did she get stuck? So we end up going back, and they have all these rigs with light bars pointed at there, and Dave's got a tow strap hooked up, and they're trying to figure what's going on. And I had heard, as we were getting close, I could hear the radio chatter, and it said something about this thing's never going anywhere without 4-wheel drive. I thought, how does she not have 4-wheel drive? So I asked them about it. They said, "Yeah, the drive shaft's the drive shaft's turning, but the wheels aren't turning." And so I said, "Well, did anybody check the axle?" They go, "Well, what do you mean?" It was like, hold my beer, and I just looked under there, and the JLs have a 2-piece axle on
Yeah.
the passenger side, just the same way that the YJs used to have. And the cord had been zip tied so tight that I think she got some axle droop when she had left from the punch bowl, and it ripped that cord out of the disconnect, and so she lost her 4-wheel drive and got buried.
Mm-hmm.
And plugged it back in, popped it in 4-wheel drive, and she drove to camp.
Yeah, dude. For
Just
you,
good to go.
that's common sense because you're under
I was just
Jeeps
gonna
all
say,
day, dude.
yeah,
but
yeah.
who knows?
'Cause
Like
I wouldn't have known that.
I wouldn't have known, dude, to look for that.
That reminds me of a time years ago. I had an XJ and I had no 4-wheel drive, and I had to baby it out of Big Bear and get home, and I'm looking through the Haynes manual, and there was a vacuum tube because
Yeah.
it had a vacuum diaphragm to
Yes.
engage the four-wheel drive.
A lot of the trucks of that
Yes.
era had them.
And I was 20-some years old. I didn't know the difference. And the vacuum tube had pulled off.
Yeah.
Put the vacuum tube back on and worked. And I'm like, had I just known what to look for, you
Right.
know? So that goes back to Casey knowing exactly what to look for because he works on these things all the time.
Yeah. So luckily it wasn't anything bad. I told her, you know, the connector doesn't want to stay on because the little plastic nub ripped off that holds the
Electrical
connector on.
Electrical tape that thing.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I just told her, look, I don't know, you know, it could pop off potentially because the thing that's supposed to hold it on isn't there anymore. So, you know, you're gonna have to get that fixed, but at least you'll get back to camp, and then from there it should be a breeze.
Is that
you know?
a common issue you see on the JLs from like being modified, like the little clip?
Well, you have to like unclip some of the Christmas trees that hold that, like the wire's held in place like with just enough slack for stock axle droop.
Oh, okay, I see.
Right, and then when you lift it, you have to unclip a couple
Yeah.
of those to give
Yeah.
it some freedom. Well, then whoever did the work did that, but then they zip tied it to the wires that come, the sensor wire, the wheel sensor wire, and the brake line that comes down, and so it was too taut, I think.
So for anybody out there with making aftermarket parts, make an extender plug with the male end on one, and you know, like a 6-inch plug,
Just to play it safe.
Yeah, a 6-inch whip with the male end on one side, female on the other side. Plug it in, and then you don't have
Right.
to undo any of the clips or anything. I mean, that's
Right.
that seems like a good aftermarket thing.
Well, it's good it was just a plug and not like the actual axle snapping.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys get back to camp. Tell me about what camp was like Saturday night. I mean, you posted up some pictures and stuff, but you know, what was the vibe around camp? Did everybody stay up late? I'm assuming you and Matt were probably up till 3:00 in the morning, just from past experience.
Yeah. Camp was great. It was another, you know, epic campfire. I think I remember saying this is the most people I think that we've had around a single campfire, like this late into the night. Like usually there's only a few people. Not everybody comes to the campfire, or you know, people go to bed quite early. But it got to be kind of late, and it was just like a humongous gathering.
Did Jason Priestley's hair come up at all this time?
I don't think it did. No, we were talking about Fred Durst instead.
All right.
This time it was Fred Durst.
I swear to you guys, those of you that have not been on a trip with us, when I would say right about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
That's when the switch gets flipped.
When I'm asleep, all the kids are asleep, and these guys are left out to their own conversations. The most random topics, and like we talked about Jason. I woke up one morning to go to the bathroom. You guys were arguing about Jason Priestley's hair, and then one time I came out and Casey and Matt were arguing about how Mike Trout was the best ball player in the history of baseball. They both agreed.
Matt and Joe.
Oh, Matt and Joe.
Matt and Joe, but
they both
see,
agreed, but for different reasons.
They both agreed that he was, if not the best, one of the best, if not the best player in baseball.
But
they
for different reasons.
But for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so funny, some of these conversations that happen around campfire. And you know, I almost brought out the portable recorder to give to Casey and like, hey, record something around the campfire.
Oh man!
But we never do it. We never do it, and it's probably better because if you want this content, you got to come on these trips with us. It is.
Yeah, but it'd be good for like little teasers.
Oh man, it is the campfire conversations that happen on these trips is freaking amazing. So Fred
Well,
Durst.
we got kind of a late start because we had, instead of, you know, we were on our way back to camp. It was still light to like start cooking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Chris got sick, so we got kind of a late start. Everyone was pretty much cooking in the dark. So I would say it wasn't, you know, I mean, I don't even know what time it was, but we went back to our tent and cooked up some fajitas and Matt cooked up some hot dogs, and we got over to the fire where some people are already gathering and stuff. And I heard this sound coming from Mark's truck. I said, is he cooking popcorn?
No.
They were like,
No
They were
way,
like,
dude.
yeah, that's popcorn.
He brought
And
a
so they
microwave
came
out there?
and sat down, and Joey goes, I think we're breaking every single one of Newsom's COVID rules right now because that thing of popcorn went around the campfire like 15 times.
It's a COVID corn.
Supposedly,
you guys
supposedly.
had COVID corn.
So once the popcorn was gone, Susan goes and grabs like these 2 packages of cookies that we brought, and those went around and about another 6 or 7 times.
Oh no!
Allegedly,
yeah.
Allegedly, yeah.
No COVID was transferred in the making of the
No.
video. Well, Mark, Duty Driven. He's got that F-250 with the rooftop tent. And he was out there with his fiance, and when I saw them on Saturday, I was like, you guys probably slept more comfortably than I did in my own house. Because, they got a great setup there. So everybody hung around the camp, and then did anybody stay up late, or did everybody kind of go to bed at a decent time, or what?
I think everybody pretty much called it a night around midnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think we were tired. I don't think you realize how exhausting it is trying to run hard through the desert.
Desert running takes it out of you, dude.
Yeah. Hey, George says that you guys had a visit from the Kessel Scorpion.
I did not see it. I think I remember that. Someone found a scorpion or something like that.
I
think
I remember
there
that.
was talk about a scorpion.
How much popcorn did you have, Casey?
I cleaned out the popcorn.
So everybody calls it at midnight. What happened Sunday morning? Because the plan was Sunday was just like wake up, break down, everybody takes off when they want to take off. How did that play?
I woke up in my tent to the sound of Sarah saying bye to Matt because he camped right next to us. So I think she was the first one gone, and then I think Joey was the next one after that had left. And then so just kind of one by one, people started to peel off. Me and Susan and Matt were the last ones to leave pretty much right at 10. And Mark had left right before us. And then Matt took off, obviously. So me and Susan are just kind of cruising along. And then all of a sudden, Mark was behind us. I wonder if he might have taken the wrong turn or something because he left way before us. So I don't know. I hadn't got a chance to ask him, but
he was in the chat room just a few minutes ago. He said he made a U-turn. So Mark got lost and had to make a U-turn. So then everybody takes off Sunday, and I will say that I am bummed that I didn't get to participate. I mean, it is
not just you.
I know it is. It's really. It's one thing to plan the whole thing and go out there Friday, get it set up, go out Saturday and get you guys off and running. And there was part of me that thought, I might be able to do it. And then again, like I said, that drive in and out of just to camp. Yeah. I know me well enough to know that if I got on that trail, I would have put my foot into it and hit a bump that I didn't see, and I would have wrecked myself. So
the from the lake bed, the Travelers Monument, the Barstow Wash or whatever, Flush.
Yeah.
From there to Kelbaker Road was like worse than I think I ever remember it. Like it would just maybe because I was going kind of slow because every time I looked back, everyone was way back there, but that was because of the dust. So I wasn't going faster, but it was a crappy road right there.
I mean, just from my outside view, looking at the people posting stuff on the trip, it looked like everyone was having a great time. I mean, it seemed like it went really well considering 2 of the 3 people that organized the event weren't even there.
Yeah. And I will say that I received text messages and Instagram messages from several people on Sunday saying great trip. Someone said Casey killed it as the trail leader. It sounded like it went really, really well. I'm happy with the fact that we put the call out. We had, a bunch of people register, show up, go have a good time. The goal was I don't want to see your eyeball, your zeros.
That's how many U-turns we did.
Yeah, but because I mapped it out correctly for you.
2?
Oh, let's talk about the tablet. So what happened with the tablet?
Okay.
So we were finally, luckily we got to where we were almost to Traveler's Monument, right? So it was working fine. And I'm like, okay, like I got it from here. I looked down at the tablet. It says, this application is stopped. And then it just went away. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm Zen, try to find the stupid app on this thing that's not an iPhone. And so he was able to find it and bring it. And then the map comes up, and then all 8,700 of your little marks on that map also come up. So we're trying to weed through that. We get it. Okay, fine. We get going again. And then it does the same thing. This application stopped. We got it going again. And then right after Kelbaker Road, maybe halfway between there and the tubes, the map went away. It was just an arrow.
Well, no terrain, no blue line, no orange line.
Now we know why Cody's getting lost all the time, because his apps are breaking down.
I will tell you,
he's just following arrows.
I'll tell you that I bought that tablet for like $75-80 3-4 years ago. It barely had enough horsepower to do what I even told Casey. Casey was looking at buying a mapping tablet, and I said, get this minimum specs, because it's not.
Yeah, get an iPad Mini.
You know what? That would be great. But you definitely. My original thought was, once I load the stuff on there, it doesn't really need to do much. But it makes it so much more usable when you've got the horsepower in the gear to do it.
Yeah,
right?
it's just seamless.
Yeah. So I'm constantly fighting with that thing. So what I ended up doing, what I was telling Casey, is what I've done recently.
But
Matt,
when you talk about horsepower, aren't you worried about emissions?
No, not
what
at all.
What about your gas mileage?
Mileage may vary. What I started doing with the tablet is, I have the tablet mounted and I have it zoomed out so I can see the overall where we're going. Mm-hmm. And then I have my phone zoomed in to see the next turn, so I don't overcome it. Because what was happening before is I was just using the tablet and I'm trying to zoom in and out to find,
that's when it would break.
Yeah, and that's when it would break, or that's when it wouldn't respond fast enough. So if I would leave it just as the zoomed out version and then use my phone as the zoomed in version, it was better. But
you sure you don't want a couple more screens on your dash? Like
no,
one for the Earth, where you're at on the Earth, and then one where you're at in the galaxy, just to make sure you don't get lost?
No, what I need to do is invest in a good GPS tablet and just use that one application. But
so I pretty much just used my phone the whole time, because that tablet kept crashing and my phone just kept going. So
yeah,
it was fine.
Well, I am very, very, again, I'm bummed that I didn't get to go, but I'm glad that I'm glad that it went well. And to all of you that attended, thank you. We are very, very fortunate, and we've talked about this before, that anytime we put together an event or a run or a meet and greet or whatever, the people that we get to show up just are a great group of people. We've never once been in a situation where, where the people didn't get along. And it seems like every time we do one of these things, someone becomes part of the group now, and now they come to the next one and the next one and the next one, and it just gets better. So the next one we'll talk about.
Pretty soon we're going to cause our own traffic jams on the 15.
That would be
just our group heading up the hills.
If you do go out there or on a run with us, like, use some trail etiquette, because when we're coming back on the lake bed towards Traveler's Monument, there's this Tacoma with a camper shell, like a rooftop tent, hauling ass towards us. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll just scoot over a little bit and he'll scoot over a little bit and we'll go right past each other. If I didn't scoot all the way over, he would have just ran right into me.
What?
And he did not pump the brakes, not once. Did you see that, Matt, when you were running next to me on the right?
No, I didn't.
That silver Tacoma? Yeah. He did not.
Wow.
Well, it was a Tacoma driver. I mean,
those freaking Toyota drivers.
They're all uppity.
Those guys. Yeah, they think they own it.
Yeah, drink my coffee like this.
So the next one is going to be our winter expedition.
Let's go to the desert where it's freezing.
Well, so in the past we've gone.
Let's see. The first year we did it was cold, right? It was freezing.
First year it was butt cold. The last year it was pouring rain, and we had.
Were you guys not cold last year?
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah, but it was pouring.
But
But
the
cold
rain
then, too.
the rain was worse than the cold, I think, last
Yeah,
year.
but that stopped as soon as the trip started, pretty much.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it poured until we started.
That's true. That's true.
So
And then it was just cold.
yeah, so right now we're looking at mid-December, and I think the weekends we're throwing out there are the 12th and 13th or the 19th and 20th. I can't remember what we agreed to. I'll have to go back and look. But somewhere in mid-December we're going to do the winter expedition. Typically, we have gone down to the Ocotillo Wells, Borrego Springs area. We've looked at the Valley of the Moon area. I was looking at, because that's what this the Baja Forge run was originally. We talked about doing the Valley of the Moon. I just couldn't figure out how to make it work right, and I thought this would be a better trip. But we could drive down to Valley of the Moon, go in the trail all the way to the border.
But yeah, that one, I think that would have to be a campsite, right? On one of those.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, so we would either have to go all the way in, down to the border, camp, which I don't know if you can, camp next to the border.
You can.
And then back out, or go in and out, and then go up to Superstition Mountain, like the south side of Borrego Springs, and then do Superstition Mountain for the night.
We've been trying to get to that
I know.
place for like 4 years.
Glamis. We could do Glamis.
I would love to do Glamis. I've brought it up before. Glamis would be a hell of a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people that think that Glamis in the Jeeps and the trucks isn't as fun. I will tell you from personal experience, it is a freaking blast.
Even in like a heavy truck like mine, slow.
Yeah.
Like...
Because even in your truck, like there's a couple the path to the bar, Matt, that long 40-mile drive to the bar, the area down by the wash, there are areas where like that path to the bar it's 100 yards wide for 40 miles. And it's got dunes on the side, whoops over here, and everybody breaks up. Like when we do it on the bikes, when we would do it, everybody would follow each other to like you get past all the campsites, and you would just hear why like take off, and everybody just kind of kept their pace, and it was like one group out in front, and then everybody like Matt and I would always stick together and cruise. It's a fun balls out run in any type of vehicle. So maybe you're only doing 50.
And then you could still go to the, like the races at night, go to the Olds Hill. And that's always like a crazy circus atmosphere, you know?
December, is there going to be, it's not going to be.
Yes.
Is it in December?
Yes. From October to April. I mean, it's just going to be nuts.
That's riding season.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I mean, just because we've usually gone out there in February, that's usually when we would do the trips. But I am open to that as an option. I mean, it's
in fact, I'd be concerned it's too busy. There might be too many people there.
Isn't there a trail on the other side of the Salton Sea? Like instead of the highway, there's the other side, and there's like trails all over there. I've never been over there.
You mean on the other side of like Ocotillo Wells?
Of the Salton Sea, of the actual Salton Sea.
Like on the east end of the Salton Sea?
Yes.
There's a town there.
Slab City. Rockwood,
that was
Calpatria.
Anthony Bourdain did an episode from that little town.
Oh, I mean, looking at it, they're looking at the terrain map. There's a bunch of. I mean, it looks like it's more of the same. It's more of the Ocotillo Wells, Borrego Springs. I just don't know if there's like, is that accessible land? It looks like there's some trails there. I'm looking at it on the map, but
we'll have to.
Look.
What the hard part of Glamis would be is getting a spot, because like you're not going to go get it the day before. I mean, maybe you could send someone out there, but
no, I would disagree, Case, because most of the spots in Glamis are like off of the, Gecko Road, and everybody wants to camp near those. If we're all in trucks and we don't have any RVs, we don't have any trailers, we could go out into the first time I went to Glamis.
But I'm saying if not everybody shows up at the same time as a caravan, then I think it becomes difficult.
We just throw coordinates out and say, follow the dirt, find your way.
I don't know. I've never been to Glamis, so.
It is, what, Glamis is a lot of fun. It is, Matt, what about Dumont? Because Dumont,
that would be great. Yeah. There's that trail as you enter the park. It's right along the riverbed. That would be a really fun trail.
Yeah, so Glamis is all sand dunes. Down by the wash, there's like Rocky Path and stuff like that, but it's primarily sand dunes. Dumont, however, is a really good mix of hard pack, rocky trail, sand dunes. I almost SpaceX'd my Jeep, and so that like there's certain like Glamis. There's three different sand dunes that I've ridden in at Pismo Beach, which we need to talk about in a minute. So at Pismo Beach, the sand dunes are very predictable. They roll away from the ocean and then drop off. So depending on what direction you're going, what you're going to find at the top of the dune. Glamis is less predictable, but you don't have any like witch eye. You don't have any like crazy peaks that drop off. Usually, if you come up to the top of a dune at Glamis and you take it at a 45-degree angle, you're going to roll over pretty easy and go. Dumont, though, is very different. These dunes are way steeper, and you don't know what's on the other side. And I remember everybody
you have to crest at an angle.
Yeah, and I
really,
didn't.
If you're on a bike, you kind of that's the cool thing about being on the bike is you could ride right up to the top.
Yeah.
And then look over and then just skip over.
Yeah. And I didn't. There was one dune that everybody was trying to get up and over, and the bikes made it, and I was in the Jeep and I punched it, and I got to the top, and I was just so worried about getting to the top I didn't think about making that angle and cresting over, and I went straight up and realized there's no more sand dune here. The front end came down and I felt the back end lift up, and I was ready to go, and I floored it. So that the back end would drop down and I like flew down the thing, almost lost it and fishtailed it and got out of it. It was in the TJ. So, it was scary.
That happened to me, and was it Rogelio?
Rogelio, yeah.
Rogelio and somebody else. Rogelio hit a spot on the way back from the punch bowl, and it dropped off and it was dark, so we couldn't see. And there really isn't anything that crests like you were just saying on the way back from the punch bowl. It's usually very rolling, when you're getting out. And apparently he got on the radio, and I was probably blaring some Rush or something too loud because I didn't hear it. And he goes something about watch out, look out for my Jeep because I'm at the top of a drop off. And I hit that thing. I don't know, man, 25 miles an hour. I launched. And Justin was in the truck with me. I hit and sand came up over my hood. It was nuts. And he's all, dude, your truck is jacked up. There's no way it's not jacked up. All right, well, let's get back to camp. And he's all, is it supposed to sound like that? Because my inner skirt now it hits my tire a little more frequently. I don't know. Something got adjusted underneath there. Got back to camp and there's nothing. You couldn't tell that if anything had happened to it. But talking about like you got to be wary, especially at night, racing around in sand. So
yeah. So we'll look at some options.
We'll figure it out.
So we got the Akatia Wells area, Valley of the Moon, Glamis, or Dumont. So one of those four will be our winter expedition, and it'll be either 1 or 2 nights. I would like to do.
I think 2.
I would like to do a 2-night. And we also talked about doing, because we've done it in the past. We've done it between Christmas and New Year's. The downside to that is we did it that one year where we left on the 26th, and that sucked. It was too hard. Matt's going again. It was too hard. It was too hard to wake up the day after Christmas and get out the door, and get everything ready. So I don't want to do that again. So we'll do one of those weekends before, and maybe we'll do like a Friday night, go out to whatever our starting point is Friday night, spend the night. That way we're already there Saturday morning to start wheeling, wheel all day Saturday, spend the night, and then do Sunday.
I don't like wheeling the day you have to go home.
Yeah,
like that sucks. Like wheeling, like Sunday.
So you thinking take a Friday off, go out Thursday night, spend the night, take Friday, wheel all day Friday, spend the night.
No, like you can take Friday off, leave super early, just wheel all day Friday,
and then
camp Saturday, and then Sunday,
or take Monday off,
or take Monday. It doesn't matter.
So yeah, we'll try to do a 3-day, a 3-day, 2-night trip. In that area or in one of those areas.
Just because wheeling and then having to drive home after that is such a long day.
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But, look, we continue to have good fortune when we do these events and people come out and join us. And for those of you that participated, we appreciate it. I know that a couple of you had to drop off and life happens. It happens. I've had some conversations with Nexon about this winter expedition. They want to be more involved on the next trip, so that we'll see how that plays out. What we'll do is the group will figure out what the path's going to be, where the destination's going to be, and then we'll put up the registration.
I was going to say, are we going to have another sign up?
Yeah, we'll do another sign up.
20 rigs again.
Well, I think it depends. We had 25 people register, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dropped off. Kind of not last minute, but 7 of them dropped off. So we had more room than what we needed.
Yeah, but if you say, well, if you count on 7 dropping off and 7 don't drop off.
Yeah, well, but on the winter expedition, if we're in a place like Glamis or Dumont, it's big enough to where you can have 30 vehicles. You know what I mean? Even the Kessel Run, it's straight. It's big enough, wide open enough, straightforward enough to where you could have 30 vehicles, right?
This one has to be smaller, I would say.
You think?
Yeah, because 25 rigs, like.
I think we could do 25 rigs.
That's a lot. Dude.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out, but we'll put out some registration. We may have a little different process on the registration next time, just to try to ensure that everybody shows up. I'd like to, the swag bags went great from Nexon. Everybody loved those. So we want to do more of that stuff. So I do appreciate these, when people join us on this stuff. We love it. I love putting these things together. Hopefully Jose and I get to attend next time. Unless I break something else between now and then.
I will be on the next trip.
Jose will be on the next one. I'll try not to break something between now and then. But with that said, guys, Casey, thank you so much for stepping up and taking the lead when the rest of us couldn't. And, that was one thing. That's one thing, Tammy and I talked about a little bit when I came home. She was like, how to go and how are you feeling? I'm like, it's in good hands. Between, you and Joey and Joe and Tim and Dave and all the people that go wheeling with us on a regular basis, I knew it was in good hands. You guys had a destination. Everybody was going to have a good time. I wasn't concerned about everybody getting along. We're very fortunate in having the group that we have. And for those of you that want to be part of that, feel free to start joining us on some of these runs when we put them out. I would like to get to a point where we have 4 events, like we talked about: Mojave Trail, the Winter Expedition, maybe the Kessel Run, and one other like summer trip that we could do quarterly, like 4 trips a year that are guaranteed, that people know we're coming.
Do one up here, like a camping trip up here.
Well, we've talked every year. We talk about a 4th of July trip in the summer up in Big Bear, and it never plays out.
And it hasn't.
No,
I hasn't.
No, it just something always happens. So maybe not 4th of July. Maybe we pick like a different weekend. But
it's the only thing is, if it's going to be a summer one, it has to be somewhere high elevation.
Yeah, it's got to be Big Bear. Yeah. It's got to be Mammoth. It's got to be someplace that's not 112.
Exactly.
Yeah, do it like in August.
Yeah. Well, we'll do an annual trip for Tammy's birthday.
Oh yeah, that works.
I'm sure that'll go over well.
There's more than one day.
I know. All right. So keep an ear out for the Winter Expedition. That will probably get posted in the next, because if we're doing it in December, we're 8 weeks away.
Dude, it's going to come up quick.
8 weeks away. Yeah. I need to get myself out of the sling between now and then. But so that registration will come up here in the next 3 weeks to 4 weeks. I want to put the registration out at least a month in advance. And so keep an ear out for that. For those of you that have attended, I'm going to try to reach out to you on this event and see what worked and what didn't. Maybe get you guys to do a survey so I can make sure the next one goes well too. All right, guys. Well, Casey, anything else before we part? I appreciate you, like I said, stepping up. It really helped out, man.
No, it was a great trip. Thanks to everybody that came out, and hopefully we fulfilled all their expectations.
If they listen to this show, I don't think they expect much. They should know better.
When you're starting off with 0 expectation, there's only one way up.
Yeah. And
hopefully it didn't stay at 0. Hopefully it went up at least, a little bit. At least a little bit. No, I think it was a great group of people. It was a great trip. I mean, that's a fun trail, a fun run to make. I think everything was like, borderline perfect on that run.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll speak for Matt at this point, and everybody in the chat room. Matt's taking care of some business. Everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate you guys that jump on and give us feedback. And for those of you that attended this trip this year, looking forward to the next one. And we will talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
All right. So.
Yeah, Mark's right. We can't do Mondays because we record on Mondays.
Can't do what on Monday?
Like,
oh, that's true.
I mean, we've done it before.
Yeah, we've done it before. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys in the chat room, all of you guys, thank you so much. Dave, Perry, Matt says bye. Tim, Adam, as we were talking about some of the locations, Adam was talking about Moab, Sand Hollow, Sedona, or Anza Borrego. I agree with all of those locations other than the day of travel there and the day of travel back.
That's
the like Moab, you can make that trip from Southern California in one day, but it's a long day. Where's Sand Hollow?
Utah.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
Sedona's gorgeous. I love Sedona, and Sedona's 6 to 8 hours from here. But it's again, those locations are 1 day of travel. That's 2 days of wheeling.
Yeah, it's
and
a
then
4-day trip.
Yeah, it's got to be a 4-day trip.
To make it worth it, because if you do 1 day of travel, 1 day wheeling, 1 day back.
Yeah, I did when we did Moab. We did 2 days of travel, so we spent the night. 2 days of travel. We're there for 4 or 5 straight days, and then 2 days back. Yeah. It was a week-long trip. So yeah, Adam, I agree with those locations. Gotta see if we can make that work at some point.
And we'd have a trail guide if we went to Arizona. Tim.
Yeah, come on, but we gonna trust Tim in his minivan?
Yeah, because his Jeep's not running. So
hey, we're just death wobbling the whole time on
the trail. Let's see, Tim's in here. Mark.
I liked that last year. We went, we wheeled, we camped. And then we wheeled some more, and then we camped again. Yeah. Then we got up.
See, the Kessel run's cool because you set up a base camp. You can unload all your shit, and then you can just go wheel, and then you just come back, and then your stuff's already set up.
So Glamis and Dumont would be that way.
Okay.
So Glamis and Dumont, we would you'd find a base camp, and then from that central base camp, you just go out a couple days, and you know. Glamis, we used to go out. You'd wake up in the morning, you go wheel, come back for lunch, go wheel, come back for dinner, wheel for the night trip. I mean, you'd go out and make three trips or so. The Dumont is similar, and Dumont has the mix. Oh, and you know what? We didn't talk about Gorman. I mean, I was talking to Dave a little bit before you guys took off on the run. Gorman's another place that's got 100 trails up there that you could take, and you could camp in a central location and do all kinds of trails in Gorman. So let's see.
What's up with that Miller Jeep Trail?
I've been wanting to do that trail for a long time, dude.
Dumont, Glamis.
I think we can finally do that trail, Miller Jeep Trail.
I'm making some notes.
But is that not something that you could turn into a whole weekend, Jose?
Oh yeah, for sure. From the videos I've seen, yeah, they'll
it's like a day trip.
It's a one really long day trip, or you just make it up to the top of the trail, you camp, and then you come back down the next day.
Hey, where's it?
There's not an in and out. It's you have to.
I think it's one way in, one way out.
Oh, okay. One way in.
Yeah, exactly.
No way out.
Miller Jeep Trail,
but that's Ventura. That's Los Padres National Forest. I guess
that's up to 5.
Yeah, it's not. It's south of Bakersfield, so it's not that far.
Yeah, it's before the Grapevine.
Yeah, you were talking about driving to Baker already.
Yeah. So maybe what we'll do for registration, maybe we'll put the registration out early, and give people the option to vote.
Oh, you want leave it to the people?
Leave it to the peoples.
Yeah, but
the power of the people.
Let's go to Moab.
No,
you got to give them options.
Yeah, I'll give them 4 options and let the people. I'll see. Coyote Flats is another one that Tim brought up. But yeah, but is it Coyote Flats in the summer? But during the winter, it's probably soggy and crappy.
I don't know
Yeah.
where's Coyote
Well,
Flats.
and you're talking about again. You're talking about a day of travel or
8
so.
hours,
You know,
yeah.
Where's that at?
I would think you're at least 6-8 hours.
It's Central California. It's
yeah. Up to
Sierras.
395,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
Sierras.
yes. Up by like Alabama
I think
Hills.
you're
or
looking
something.
at. I think you're looking at minimum 6 hours to get there. I think. I don't know. I have never mapped it, but
Yeah.
Death Valley would be cool.
Again, another.
except for the death part.
Yeah. Mark is saying that Coyote Flats is impassable in winter, and Ron Tim is saying it's too cold anyway. So we'll take that one off. Yeah, so we'll look at some options, and then, like I said, maybe what we'll do is when we do the registration, we'll say, okay, here's the 3 options that we're looking at, and as the people register, let them pick where we go. You know, if we do it early enough, we can plan it out. I mean, any of those. So Dumont, Glamis, Anza Borrego, or Ocotillo Wells, Valley of the Moon.
That's all the same general area.
No, Dumont is.
I don't know where Dumont's at.
Baker. Dumont's in the Baker area.
So what do we got? A 3-hour drive to there.
Yeah. So Dumont's 3 hours. Glamis,
all
Anza,
those are
3 hours. Yeah. Valley of the Moon, maybe 4.
Yeah, Valley of the Moon's for you guys not that far. For Valley of the Moon's going to take a while. That's going to be like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, Gorman too. Gorman is like I want to say 5 hours from here.
Right.
But
it took me like 3 hours to get to last year's expedition.
Yeah, but you're also in your Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was pushing. And it was snowing and shit like that. But still, I mean, I think I mapped it. It still said it was 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think it ended up taking me 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do up at the 395 for. That's the one. Like, if it were up to me, that's where I would want to go.
Yeah, but not at that time of year.
In the winter, in a couple months.
Yeah.
So something's wrong. It's saying Gorman's only 2 hours from here. I feel like Gorman's a lot farther.
It's up to 5, dude.
Yeah,
it's not,
I know.
It's not that far.
It's closer than I thought for some reason.
It's like half an hour past Six Flags.
Yeah.
Valencia.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was further up.
No. It's before the Grapevine.
Okay. Yeah. So Gorman is an option. So Matt, how you feeling? You good? You should have weighed yourself.
Yeah.
Did you weigh
You
yourself?
can't even talk.
You
Can't even talk.
It's not good, guys.
the show's done. We closed out, we closed out the show, so we're still on the live feed though. Cocktail, freshie.
Yeah.
So we're talking.
I'm almost done,
dude. So we're talking about for the winter expedition.
You guys want to know what my poop looks like?
I don't. Is it clear?
Is it clear yet? Like glass?
It's not like glass, but it's very yellowy, and there's no chunks. There's no chunks left. Like I think I saw a chunk of lettuce out the last time, and I can't tell you last.
You don't even eat lettuce.
Last time I had lettuce. So
oh shit!
It's really getting in there good. It's getting in there real good.
Mark says
Cheers.
Mark says you already look thinner. So we are talking about for the winter expedition. We're talking about Dumont, Glamis, the Anza Borrego, Ocotillo Wells area, Valley of the Moon, Miller Canyon, Miller Jeep Trail, or Gorman, all of which are about 2 to 4 hours away from our location. And one of the things I said is maybe we'll do the registration early and give the people the chance to pick. So we put out 4 options and say let everybody pick, and whatever location they pick, we plan the trip for that.
You know, that's how you end up going to Chuck E. Cheese for dinner, is when you let your kids pick stuff like, what do you want for your birthday? Chuck E. Cheese. Shit, Chuck E. fucking Cheese. All right, great. So just keep that in mind.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk to those people that will be sponsoring the events and what have you, and see what our options are. But okay, live feed. We are going to cut out the live feed. We're going to stop streaming. Thank you guys for being there. George, thanks for showing up. Perry, Mark, Tim, Dave, Adam, you guys. Susan was in there for a little bit. I appreciate all of you guys joining for the weekly. I'm going to go back and read some of these comments because I see a lot of poop emojis.
And, that was me.
Yeah, that's Jose. But good times, everybody. Thanks for joining, and we will talk to you guys later.
It's really not like